Hi, it's Maya here to tell you what I'm going to read for the Women Write Classic SFF Readathon, which starts next Thursday, so on April 1st. And this is a readathon that I run that is all about reading SFF books written by women that were published before the year 2000. And I will link the announcement video in the description with all the information. And I decided to go with the Arcane Scholar Challenge. So in this one, you specialize in one decade by reading 3 books from that same decade, and I chose the 1980s. Last year I tried to choose between better known authors and a bit forgotten authors, but I have to admit that this year all my choices are from quite well known authors. But 2 of them are authors that I haven't read from before, so that's exciting. My first choice is Shards of Honor by Lois McMaster-Bujold, which is the first book in this 2-book bind-up, and it's 253 pages, and I have already divided into sections so that it will take me 4 days to read. And this is a science fiction book from 1986, and it starts the Miles Vorkosigan series. I have never read anything from Bujold before. I was planning to start with her fantasy. I was planning to start with The Curse of Chalion, but here we are. This tells of Cordelia Naismith, who is the mother of the main character for most of the rest of the series, Miles. And I actually don't know anything about the plot of this one, so I'm excited to find out. So this is my first choice for the Arcane Scholar prompt. My second book is one that I own as an ebook, and that is Dawn by Octavia E. Butler. And this is 256 pages, and it's a science fiction book published in 1987, and it starts the Xenogenesis series. I have read one series from Butler before, and that was the Patternmaster series, and my favorites out of those were Mind of My Mind and Patternmaster. Dawn tells about Lilith, who wakes up in an alien spaceship hundreds of years after the devastation of Earth in a nuclear war, and the aliens called the Oankali are now planning to send humans back to resettle Earth. But the Oankali survive by genetically merging with other civilizations, whether they like it or not. And there's a part in the description that sounded really ominous, and that is, for the first time since the nuclear holocaust, Earth will be inhabited. Grass will grow, animals will run, and people will learn to survive the planet's untamed wilderness. But their children will not be human. Not exactly. My final choice is the short story Sword Sworn by Mercedes Lackey, which I bought as an ebook for this readathon. It's very short. I actually don't know how many pages it is, but it was published in 1986 in the anthology Sword and Sorceress 3. It's the fantasy story that starts the Vows and Honor series in the larger Valdemar universe. I haven't read anything from Lackey before, and I'm very interested in the whole Valdemar universe, in which there are a lot of sub-series and a ton of books. So this specific series inside the Valdemar series got my attention because the main characters are a warrior woman and a wizard woman, so a swordsmaster and a sorceress, and it sounds a bit like it could be Sword and Sorcery. So Sword and Sorcery written by a woman with both of the main characters being women sounds like something I'd like to read. This is a short story all about how the characters first meet, and it was written first, and after that there are novels and some more short stories. If I like this one, I will move on to the first novel, The Oathbound, sometime this year. So those were the books for the Arcane Scholar Challenge, but I also noticed that since I have both science fiction and fantasy covered with those books as genres, if I want to, I could try to fulfill also the Portal Expert Challenge, which is reading books from 3 different genres. So if I could read a short story from Medusa's Daughters, edited by Theodora Goss, which is a collection of Gothic stories, I could throw one of those into the mix as horror and get that challenge fulfilled as well. These are not from the 80s, but it doesn't need to be because I've already read 3 books from the 80s if I get to this one. So that was my TBR for the classic SFF readathon. Let me know if you are also taking part, and I'll see you in my next video.